Hello, dear friends. Today we continue our look at the diary of a German corporal. Don't forget to rate the video and leave your thoughts on this material. Well, let's get started. November 16th, 1941. Sumy fell after fierce fighting. The losses are horrific. Our non-commissioned officer later, who went on a reconnaissance mission with his squad, did not return. The squad didn't either. Everyone was killed. November 18th. We reach Lebedin. These last 3 days have really taken a toll on the division. Only 50% of our weapons and vehicles are combat-ready. Therefore, the division has been ordered to remain in Lebedin until further notice and to get the artillery and vehicles back in working order as quickly as possible. Lebedin, by Russian standards, is a charming little town, and frankly, a paradise compared to the dilapidated shacks of Krovno. The Soviets have built quite large administrative buildings here, along with an airfield and barracks outside the city. Nothing but Potemkin villages. From a distance, their whitewashed facades look quite nice. But as soon as you get closer or step inside, you see cracked walls and ceilings, crooked doors that won't open or close, warped staircases, window frames swollen from dampness, uneven floors, and that's not even the biggest problem. Meanwhile, not a single building is more than 5 to 6 years old. And here's what else just kills me here. Nowhere in this workers' paradise have we come across concealed electrical wiring. Poorly strung wires are always sagging from the walls and ceilings. Lead-lined conduits, which are mandatory back home, are unheard of here. It's the same everywhere. Even in the cities, primitivism and poverty prevail. But what are wages like in this workers' paradise? What are the prices of goods? Here are a few examples. But first, it is worth mentioning that before the war, the Soviet ruble was exchanged for Reichsmarks at a rate of 1 to 82. That is, 1 ruble cost 82 Reichsmarks. Average monthly salary. Skilled worker, 300 rubles. Red Army soldier, 7 rubles. Officer, 210 rubles. Pension amounts were calculated based on earnings. On average, this was 80 rubles. And now for prices. A winter coat cost between 2,000 and 3,000 rubles. A decent suit, 2,000 rubles. A pair of shoes, 200 or 300 rubles. A goose, 120 rubles. Eggs and butter, 25 rubles. Almost immediately, within a few days, a militia was formed from loyal Ukrainians who proved themselves from the very best side during those difficult days that followed. Reports indicate a partisan group numbering 2,000 men. We deploy and engage in battle with the armed bandits. They have machine guns, artillery, anti-tank weapons, and other infantry armaments. Since the partisans are beginning to pose a serious threat to Lebedin, we have to request reinforcements from Akhtirka. In one sector, we are forced to temporarily retreat, leaving our dead and wounded behind. Upon returning, we find them mutilated. In the city itself, the atmosphere is one of uncertainty. An attack on a non-commissioned officer with the intent to rob him. The criminal was apprehended the same day and hanged. The following evening, 2 thieves attacked me as well. It was pitch dark, and both managed to escape and hide in the labyrinth of alleys. I definitely wounded one of them, and apparently seriously. In the morning, while inspecting the crime scene, we noticed a bloody trail on the ground. But we never managed to track them down. In the afternoon, 10 hostages were shot. We no longer stand on ceremony, but act with an iron fist. The city gallows are not standing idle. Executions have become an integral part of daily life. That is how it should be, and only that way. Bad news from the front. On November 21st, a unit of the division that had been on leave was hastily mobilized to join Petersdorf's combat group, which is responsible for an extremely dangerous section of the front near Oboyan. Meanwhile, a bitter cold has set in. At times, the thermometer drops to -25 and even 30 degrees. Most of us lack winter uniforms, and cases of frostbite have become more frequent. December 12th. Most of the division leaves Lebanon. We arrive in Oboyan by train in sleeper cars on the 19th. December 22nd. The division is divided into separate combat groups, each under different command. The front line here is very thin and, moreover, discontinuous. Near the Rojava River, the demarcation line separating us from the neighboring army, 40 kilometers of the front line, is unoccupied. When we arrive there, we see something that clearly does not inspire us. So this is our position for the winter? And here we are to hold back the Russian advance? I feel like crying. These pitiful little trenches. Craters. We have to blast the frozen ground, scraps of barbed wire, and that's all? Those we have come to relieve are emaciated, pale, with a strange gleam in their eyes. They silently shake our hands and wander off to the rear. An hour later, 2 of our comrades are killed by a shell explosion, and several more are wounded. In the evening, the first massive Bolshevik attack. Supported by tanks, ski battalions swarm toward us like a whirlwind. An icy north wind blows snow right in our faces. Our eyes can see nothing, and our weapons misfire in the cold. Visibility is 10 paces. Here and there, Russian tanks suddenly emerge from the snowy slush just a few meters away from you. Hand grenades explode, wild screams ring out, and brutal hand-to-hand combat ensues. 2 of our guns are crushed by tanks. In short, we can't hold out here. What now? Every man for himself? Our squad is supposed to meet up at some collective farm 2 kilometers from here. We wait and wait. Half an hour passes, and there's no sign of our unit. No one. Not a single person. The tragedy has begun. December 23rd. Reinforcements arrive at night, but the men are so exhausted they can barely stand on their feet. They've accomplished the impossible. They marched 30 kilometers on foot through a snowstorm, sinking into the snow, and even dragged 2 guns along with them. Under these conditions, there's no point in even thinking about counterattacks, and by tomorrow, it will be too late to counterattack. We wonder why the Russians didn't pursue us. Amid constant tank attacks, we dig trenches for ourselves using grenade blasts. We turn everything into firing positions: huts, potato storage sheds, cellars. December 24th. All day long, a sharp increase in reconnaissance activity. It has gotten even colder, -30 degrees, as someone said. We are running low on ammunition, and I, along with 2 soldiers, set off for the battalion command post on a small wooden sled. The pitiful nag barely drags itself along, exhaling clouds of steam. It is so cold that the steam we exhale seems to freeze instantly. We sit with the collars of our overcoats turned up. Everything is frosted over. Our caps, our unkempt beards, even though we sit with our heads tucked into our shoulders. We have wrapped our legs in pieces of sheepskin. The wind drives the snow along the icy path we are making our way along in the sleigh. The horse drags itself along as best it can. The cold reigns over this desolate, deserted landscape, from which we try in vain to separate ourselves. No one utters a word, because it seems to you that if you speak, the words themselves will freeze. Pitiful, icy huts stick out of the snow. The snow crunches under our boots as we continue on foot to cut a shortcut, hoping to warm up at least a little through movement, because the cold is so intense it causes pain in the body. Finally, after an exhausting 2-hour trek through the snow, we see a small hill. Tall, bare birch trees line it, but as we get closer, we realize that there are some burrows dug into the snow, covered by creaking doors. This is the battalion command post, which comes under fire every single day. Inside the room, almost all the space is taken up by a stove, hastily cobbled together from clay and mud. Tin cans connected to one another serve as a chimney. The dim light allows us to barely make out maps and printed orders. Inside, 4 officers sit with their legs crossed. Everything unnecessary has been removed from this hole. Above the stove, in a wooden box, are meat and bread. They're thawing them out. In this weather, everything arrives here frozen solid, including the soup from the field kitchens poured into canteens. Suddenly, this little hill begins to shake under artillery fire. We try to take cover in the soldiers' trenches, the same as ours, of course, that is, simply in holes in the ground, 7 feet wide and half a meter deep, which seem to be slightly warmer and are designed for 2 soldiers. In recent days, some of the trenches have lost their occupants, so we have no trouble finding a place to settle in. Half an hour later, the snowfall ends. Struggling to move on our numb legs, we make our way outside and see that the sled we used to get here is now a pile of splinters, and our little horse is lying in a pool of blood. I'm so enraged by this that the words get stuck in my throat. On what, I ask, are we supposed to transport our precious ammunition? Soon, a group of 12 soldiers with heavy boxes on their backs leaves the battalion command post. Silently, with frost-bitten hands, trudging gloomily through the crunching snow and trying to step into the footprints of the one ahead, we head back. And what doesn't cross our minds? Today is Christmas Eve, and right now our families are busily decorating the Christmas trees. Erica with eyes shining with joy. Roselle standing beside her, smiling. Although Roselle isn't really in the mood for smiles right now, her thoughts are somewhere far, far away, here, with me. We all have one single, burning wish. God, bring him back to us alive and well. That's it. No thinking, no pondering, no daydreaming, no getting soft. Brush the ice crystals from under our eyes. Our comrades are eagerly awaiting the shells, because today, the Reds, for whom nothing is sacred, will begin their attack. Someone is groaning. His feet are freezing. He can barely walk. We distribute his load among the rest of us and keep moving. It's already getting dark when we, half dead from exhaustion, return to our own lines. We've been officially ordered to go to sleep in one of the trenches. It's just incomprehensible. How can you fall asleep here when things are rumbling and whistling overhead, and when every soldier counts? Our shells are exploding right in the midst of the attacking Russians, scattering that Asian scum in all directions. These guys are terrified of shelling. They advance without tank support and soon retreat. Oh, holy night! Twice they return that night, and twice we drive them back. Oh, holy night! In a bunker dug into the ground, a candle burns all night long. This bunker is like a hospital, moans and screams from all around. By morning, everything falls silent. Our battalion's suffering comes to an end. That's all for today. If you like the video, please support it with a like and subscribe to the channel. Bye for now, everyone, until we meet again.